insane. If you made the cut, then you're part of my team. Just like bowling at pint, all strikes don't cut her. Attracted to the mind, but I like mine's hooder. She gotta have a pretty face too, no butter. I wonder how she age. Look at her mother. My favorite color's green, but I'll settle for blue. Check until I can't see, I'm only 5'3". Who the fuck made this shit on that track? Meaning if I'm on it, yes, this shit slap.
Hey, welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. We have James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews.
Yo.
Hi, James.
Hi, everybody.
We are here to go over Basketball Wives Orlando Season 1, Episode 9. I just want to say, I think that for a new show, they're doing well compared to other new shows, and they're getting a full season. Usually people get in their first season 7 episodes, maybe just 10, but they seem to have gotten a good amount, so good for them. Let's jump right into the review, y'all, before my voice goes out again. We see Nique and her mama, who speak the same and look the same and got the same mannerisms. You could tell she's definitely her mother's child. Her mom looked good too.
She does.
And she talks to her mom about the situation with Mulan because they're close. And her mom says that she has to remember that Mulan comes from a different world and she may not know how to be a friend. And if you care about people, I think her mom was trying to say sometimes you have to be forgiving of things. Anywho, we find out they haven't spoken since the ladies aired out the fact that Mulan, they knew things about Nique's, life. Oh boy. I'm getting text messages that are important. One moment, y'all, because it's for my vehicle. James, would you like to give your opinion on the scene with her mom? Or are you good? We can move it through if you want.
No, one thing I'm gonna say about this whole situation with Nique and her mom, and I love the explanation that she gave him Milan because she wasn't really trying to shade her, and also we know with the whole Mulan thing, Mulan is going through a lot with her sisters, and them being out of control. And I don't think in this moment where they are in life right now that any judgment of her is really all that necessary when you can just be considerate. So I think that that's really where her mom was coming from, and I could respect that because a lot of times that's not what you get, especially when you know the situation that has happened between them. So I definitely respect it, but I don't know. I just feel like, and then also in the terms with Mulan as well, sometimes Mulan be full of shit. So even though I want to give her grace a lot of the time because of what she's going through, I still have to call a spade when I see it. So I'm sorry.
And no shade either, based on what she said about how she grew up and, even the issues with her sisters. I think Nique's mom was right. She probably wasn't taught to, know how to be the best friend or be loyal, things like that.
And very true. And I agree with that. And then, as I said, sometimes I feel like Mulan is full of shit that time. So I can't negate that either. So that's why I'm just like, it's really, I don't want to say it's a catch-22, but it's really like, it's a hindsight.
Unless you really know somebody for hella years, like I've known James, I'm a firm believer in you shouldn't be telling your business, Nique, to nobody really who's single or who you haven't known, in my opinion, for more than 10 years. Like, y'all can hold water. It's all right. Moving it along, we then see Mehgan and Nique meet, and this is probably what a lot of people were anticipating because the last episode we got BDSM 4 from Black Ink Crew with the little penis. And it was weird because Mehgan was like holding the mic, trying to be hella professional during her podcast about sex while she's dressed in lingerie. I just thought it was weird, but it is what it is. But Mehgan invited 4 without telling Nique. Nique is famous quite literally because of 4. She met him on Black Ink Crew. She was just a girl who rented a small hair studio upstairs from, the shop at the time and got with 4. So, that is what happened with that. Nique does tell Mehgan she thinks that she was being extremely messy, which a lot of people do. I was surprised because Mehgan quickly apologized and said that she had no ill intent. Whenever you have to explain stuff like as it's happening, that's usually because you had some type of ill intent.
You know, I feel like there was slight ill intent because out of everybody that you know, Megan, you had to pick that one.
Listen,
Just
I'm just
saying.
saying she knows a
Megan knows a
lot of
lot of
people.
people.
A
She knows
lot
a
of people.
lot.
She
Yes.
does.
And this is who you decide to. I don't know. I feel like I appreciate her apology, but I'm sorry. There was definitely some malicious intent. You was trying to start some shit.
Mm,
Sorry. That's how I look at it. That is how I see it. There's nothing anyone can say to me that will change my mind on my assessments.
okay. Well, apologies, y'all. I have a lot going on. Megan then claims that she is offended at Ashley's comments that she was making because people like, okay, we're coming to a lingerie podcast with women. You're thinking like kind of like a pleasure party type of vibe. You're probably not thinking that it's going to be as graphic as it was. But I'm like, Megan, you can't be offended at Ashley's comments if you just apologize for what you did. For one, sounds like you didn't warn a lot of people of it, and it is her first live podcast, so maybe you should just say it's my first live podcast. I'm sorry, but it seemed like they just look for anything to be mad at Ashley about. And
It's starting to look like that. And once again, y'all, I'm gonna say this because yes, even though I feel like they're just picking and prodding at Ashley, we're not gonna act like Ashley don't have that backstabbing, manipulation, very evil, conniving spirit on her because she absolutely does. I 100%, the shit she did with Morgan's husband and all that bullshit. Yes, that shit is terrible. But I feel like at what point are we gonna say, okay, she did the shit. Oh well, y'all, she's on the show. Y'all are all here to get a check. Oh fucking well, either move on or ice her out. But don't invite her to shit and then make her feel guilty based on her ways. That's not fair to her.
yeah, I will say that. I did listen, preach. The Ashley definitely has some ways, but I think they're like being dramatic about the shit that she
I
does,
agree.
definitely.
Yeah.
So after all of that, we did see Morgan. I don't care for Morgan thus far. I just don't.
You
She
know
seems
what?
like
I went into this.
girl.
I went into this liking her. I went into
Mhm.
this liking her, and then at some point, she became exhausting.
Yep.
At some point, she became
Mhm.
exhausting, and I cannot figure out at what point I was exhausted with her because it wasn't with her in the Ashley conversation. It wasn't really her and what's the old girl's name that she got into it with this last couple episodes ago? I can't think of this girl's name, and it's slipping because I know because I yes, Mackenzie. Because how the fuck I forget Mackenzie? As much as I read her,
She's
how
easy
the
to
fuck
forget. We don't really
yeah.
see her unless she's like running around acting slow.
She always looks lost. Every time I look at her, she looks lost. She does. She
She
always
is
looks lost.
lost.
Yeah. So I don't know if it started with her. I don't know where y'all. I promise y'all. I don't know where I got exhausted with her at, but I'm exhausted with Morgan at this point. I feel like I can take her. Well, I can go without her next season if they get a season 2.
Yeah. So Morgan has her sister. She has 2 other siblings, sister and a brother. So she has her sister come over. Her sister's dreadlocks was cute. Hey, girl. But she does break down about her kids feeling abandoned by their dad. And I'm genuinely tired of hearing about this man. I get it. He has served you. You having all these issues. You have been on this show from episode 1. There's probably shit that we haven't even seen, Morgan, complaining about this man that you are no longer married to. You are not the only woman who has gone through divorce and discovered that the man is not the greatest father without your help. So I just really feel like the crying and stuff, I know that's difficult, but stop because
Yeah, I was gonna say just stop.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying
just
to find
like
the nice words.
yeah, I
to,
mean, the man is trash. Yeah, absolutely he is. But at the same time, it's like, what can you do about it? This is who, and that's why I tell y'all women, y'all got to be careful who y'all have these babies by. Because these men don't mean you know well at times, and y'all will sit up here and act as if, oh, but it's my baby daddy, and he loyal to me, and all this the other y'all like to play. But when push come to shove, and he gets little feelings hurt, he then does the extreme. This is extreme
Mm.
because now your kids are suffering behind this. It's not only just about you; it's now about your children and what they have to endure behind this as well. So
Hmm.
it's a crazy situation. It's a crazy situation, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It's crazy.
We didn't really get much from Morgan with that situation, but I'm just over it. She says she has severe depression, and I'm like, well, if you're depressed and it's impacting you, please get help. I will say that. So then we see Ashley and Tony Snell meeting up with the coach to prepare for their basketball camp, which they're having for kids on the autism spectrum and kids who are not on any spectrum, which I think is nice. It's a good foundation, and I will say that they've done a lot of charity on this show, so good for them for that. I'm going to keep it moving because there's not too much to comment on. We did see the loneliest pregnant woman that has ever existed, Lindsay, and Megan comes and they sit down and eat and they discuss a couple of things. How did you feel about their meeting, those three?
Why is Lindsay on the show? Is my first thing. Is it because she's literally, aside from Ashley, the only one that's married to a basketball player?
Listen,
Mind you, who's not in the NBA.
Preach.
Like, is this what we have to deal with? Because not only is she messy and she's sloppy, but she's very like duplicitous, and also, and I don't know if it's the pregnancy that's causing that, but then she's also at an extreme disarray to start something with somebody over what? Some fucking story or some fucking logic that you found out about somebody, so you gonna bring it to everybody's attention? Like, get her off my screen. I don't want to see Lindsay no more. She's another one that can go.
There's nothing that's interesting with her that we're like getting.
She's getting disrespected by her husband. He ain't excited about this baby. She's bringing up old shit with the ladies that no one cares about because no one had a reaction to it, so it was pointless for you to bring it up. And you're pregnant on top of that. So if you do get into with someone, they have to consider the fact that you are carrying. So no, get her off my screen. I don't want to see her no more. To me, she's giving very much Gloria Govan, and I don't like it.
Well, I could definitely agree on that. So the next thing we see, you guys, sorry, the weather's really bad here, so I had to go off camera. We see Ashley and Danielle meet, and Ashley asked Danielle to be a coach, and Danielle said that she will comply and all of those things, but I just felt like the meeting was weird, but I was glad that they got, stuff going. Give me one moment. I apologize. So I'm actually going to have to play a song for you guys. I do have to take a very, very, very important phone call, and I'm genuinely surprised that this is happening while I am live, but what we'll do.
I'm about to say, girl, shit happens. Take that call.
He said, take that call. So what I will give you guys while we wait is a song from the husband, since I do song reviews. So let me let you guys listen to this song. You should see the screen, and we will move it along.
What's up, Oso? Hey, what's this they talk about? It's a drought. Like, what we say?
Oh, yeah. The drought is over, about to be a flood in Cali. You niggas lifting weights and I ain't talking about it. Niggas nerve bittersweet like a motherfucker. What? Shit. The drought is over, about to be a flood in Cali. You niggas lifting weights and I ain't talking about it. No. Niggas nerve bittersweet like a motherfucker. I'm the bear, I'm the best and then so. Heard them shots on the block, do not go there. Where I'm from, they run up, they give no care. That shit no fucks, and don't be acting like you better shut the fuck up. Go hit that whip, pop up, hit that face, if ain't myself, hit my nitrous. Bitches just out the restrooms, ain't that some shit? Shoot at your Christian kids, man, ain't that a bitch? Where the toxic, no place for the witch, and many let out of prison due to a mistake. Can't fully express my thoughts, I'll get canceled. I'd rather keep real pussy up on that pedestal. If I keep them 100, then they bout to flip like comments. 90s, baby, got respect for being on. Nowadays, niggas is sensitive, they got their dick tucked. Booty tickle, hella man, like they got their dick. Keep a freak on my dick, that is classic. When niggas only in my section, no last. Keep a freak on my dick, that is classic. When niggas only in my section, no last. Real niggas on, real niggas on, real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Oh, God.
Call me Lil Hurricane, how I'm flooding. Steve Urkel jeans, how I'm coming. I'm flooding. Do 'em like some donuts, call me Duncan. With this floor, I leave 'em real cracked egg McMuffins. Oops, I ain't mean to make 'em sick, Robitussin. How I got up on the beat was disgusting. If we ain't talking about the drip, how we flooding. Even in the eye of my storm, I be crushing. Shoot, call my real ones Noah, cause they know they flooding. They pump it up and let it blow, no Joe Budden. In this life, you always reap the soul, how you throwing? Yeah, I'm finna bubble with these racks, but I ain't blowing. Hit 'em fast, leave with blast, how I'm flooding. Ask the haters why they always clucking. Dime a dozen. How I crash, I be super bad, no McLovin. I don't need a car, I got the art, how I'm flooding.
Real niggas on, real niggas on, real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas. Real niggas in my section, real niggas. Real niggas on, real niggas.
All right, you guys. Sorry for the ghetto disappearance. Apologies. I was in a hit and run. Someone hit my car and ran. They kept going. So I had to handle the payment for the card over the phone. Husbands don't always do well with everything on their own. He usually is good at giving a debit card, handing over the cash, but we all need a little help sometimes. So apologies for your recap being interrupted with music. If you did like the song that is oh so best, that is my spouse, my partner, my husband. We do song reviews on my channel twice a week. So that is why I decided to put the music on. And because I put music on the video so that it doesn't mute any part of this video or all of the video, B3ST does not own the rights to the music played on these lives. However, we do have permission from the actual owners of the copyrights to the songs to play it. So let's hop on back into our recap. I apologize, you guys. It has been a crazy week for me. James knows. I have no clue how I'm holding it together this week. I have no clue how he's holding it together either. But we here. We Black, we proud, and we great. So we will keep going. Thank you so much for allowing the pause because I know your time, James, is limited. Anywho, we were discussing the loneliest pregnant woman. I agree with what James said. I don't see why she's on the show. We have had people come on TV pregnant before. A good example is Phaedra Parks. No matter how anybody feels about her, her first time we ever saw her on TV, she was very pregnant. You can be interesting as a pregnant reality star and on TV. Lindsay is just not interesting to me.
You brought up Phaedra being, introduced pregnant and made a good point, because what made it interesting about Phaedra being pregnant on her first time being on TV in a long time since being Bobby Brown, I think it's because she lied about every single thing leading up to that pregnancy, and it was funny as hell.
Yep.
And I think that's what made it entertaining. This lady is not doing the same thing. She is being utterly messy, and she doesn't know her timing and how to read the room. Because you could be messy. We have no problem with that.
Yes.
It's just, it doesn't land when you right out the gate talking about, oh, hi, my name is Lindsay. Oh, girl, I heard you slept with Morgan's husband. That doesn't land well. We don't know who you are, and we don't know why you just said and did what you just did.
I encourage some of these I would like it if some of the reality TV stars who do watch the recappers, when people inference other stars they remind us of, go watch those shows. I think we forget sometimes and think, oh, I watch VH1, all the shows people do this and are utterly messy for no reason. But it's like you can have life on television and in the industry without going to those points. I just don't care. So Ashley and Danielle met, and I'm seeing this. What I said, I've been saying this about Danielle. These two, she has the ability to be good without Morgan. I think Danielle is a little bit too loyal and maybe a yes man when it comes to friends a little bit. I think she's seeing now that like being affiliated with Morgan and all of that stuff is not the greatest thing for her. So I was happy that she hasn't like attacked Ashley heavily since like the second episode, and Danielle is mellowing out, and it seems like she's learning from her journey on TV and what she's dealing with. And I hope that I'm right in that. Then I also don't know, because if you have the ability to change and become a mean girl just based on who you're around, James, tell you, I'm the same me on these lives, off the lives. He is the same on the lives, off the lives. Like, it shouldn't change based on who you're around as a person.
Right. It just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. So
it doesn't work that way.
The next thing we see is Morgan and her sister get matching tattoos. They went to Black Ink. Obviously, MTV and VH1 are working together. I was watching that. I was cleaning, and that Help I'm in a Secret Relationship show came on MTV. It's kind of like Catfish. They had 4 from Black Ink crew Chicago, Prince from Black Ink crew Chicago, his brother who was on the show. They had a bunch of people on that show, and I was just like, oh, so we're just like, since that show was canceled, now y'all got to put all these people somewhere, and we're going to start seeing them on MTV, VH1, this and that. Speaking of MTV and VH1, in January, we will be recapping Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'm hoping James joins me, but if you don't, I understand.
Let me explain something to y'all. Do y'all really think I'm going to miss out on an opportunity to read the fuck out of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's cast, especially knowing that both Saucy Santana and Zell Swag have made it as cast members on this show? Do y'all really think I'm finna miss a moment to read Kirk and Rashida and all 1,500 of their kids on this Thanksgiving? Y'all really think I'm finna miss out on this? Oh, I'm going to be right here giving my opinion on all of the fuck shit that I see on there. Baby hairs included if she come back.
Look at God. Look at God. Well, what I will say is I'm looking forward to it, because I think if that racist stuff didn't happen on Love and Hip Hop, we would have had a lot of fun recapping it. But because you can't really take that shit too seriously. Anywho, moving it along, you guys, the next thing we see is Lindsay having her gender reveal, and everyone showed up, and her husband for the first time looked like he was happy. He actually spoke to everybody. He looked happy to be having a baby. I don't know what it is or what we saw in the last scenes, but when we met her husband, I was like,
yeah, this was definitely a large change of events, because I didn't think that was the same man.
He was, thank you. Like,
I didn't think that was, I really did not think that was the same man. I thought this may be a brother or a cousin or something. So when it actually panned down to say that that was her husband, I said, so you just didn't want her on this show, and that's why you did that? Or
I don't think you
didn't want to come off. Did you not want her to be? Yeah, it's something with this show. You wanted to show your ass, but then you probably had an agent or something say, hey, she on this show, you can't look like that. And so you came off your high horse.
And she said he only listens to his agent. She said
that's why I'm thinking it had to have been the agent that told him don't go on that show and do all of that.
Right. Listen, either way, I was happy to see that, because even though I don't care for Lindsay on the show, I was worried for her, because I'm like, you're pregnant. Your man should be with you at your doctor's appointments. Like, these are, you could have another baby, but this is your first kid. So it's like, I want her to have that supportive spouse. So they find out they're having a girl on the little Ferris wheel. I thought that was a cute, gender reveal. And obviously they're doing all right with income because they done rented out the whole Ferris wheel in Orlando. I was looking up Orlando recently. I've been looking into Orlando a lot. It is not cheap. So I was like, okay, all right, I see y'all. Moving along, we did see Ashley have her event for the kids on the spectrum. Shout out to Ashley Snell, Tony Snell. I think it's a wonderful thing what they're doing. She's very supportive of her husband. I think we see the good in Ashley with her husband and kids. I will say that. Yes. Other than that, she seemed a little shisty. But she explains at the event, Mulan, Danny's there. Everybody was on their behavior. They behaved. But this group, from what we've seen this season, there's been a few charity events, when people who are not on TV or within the friend group are around, they tend to behave a little bit better. And I like that. Sometimes people are like, I ain't doing this. And it's nice to see her do an event that's inclusive. So shout out to them. I will not say much about it, but autism, from what I learned in school, is something that's going to become more than 50% of the population because of the choices that people make with food and drugs and alcohol and some more
and also
shit.
DNA.
Yeah, that's why her kids have it. DNA is a big part of it. You are genetically predisposed to these things. If your parents have it, you have a heightened chance of having it.
And not only that, your chances, this is why knowing your blood type, this is why knowing your genetic makeup, your ancestry is very, very important, because you have to understand something. Our ancestors were not careful the way we were when we have access to all of these things. Like, we lived in a world where in the early 1900s, 9 out of 10, if you were a young lady, your father sold you to his distant cousin in trade of a horse. That's just really what it was. So in terms of that, when we mix our DNA and have children, our children carry those same genetic chromosomes. And if they go and meet somebody else that has, a predisposed bloodline of 1/8, that can also mess us up. That's why I say knowing your genetic makeup and knowing your ancestry is important, because you do not know who you're meeting and who you're having children with, and how that could deeply affect your children.
That's why the people of Salt Lake City, as Mary Cosby said, look inbred, because there's actual proof that they are.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. They said
that's all I was saying.
Third generations do not, because I was thinking that when you said that, I was thinking about Mary when she said, because it was a thing. Like, pioneers slept with siblings and cousins to keep their resources in their family, like, especially when they got money. They didn't want that reaching outside the bloodline. They got that from Europeans. They got that from Eastern Europe, where, if y'all watch the royal family, y'all understand that Queen Elizabeth was married to her third cousin. So
a mess. The royal family is the biggest example.
Yes, exactly. That shit like inbred and all that is a huge thing. Watch some documentaries; they'll tell you.
Lord Jesus. The next thing we see is Mehgan meet with her man. His name's Dre, I think. She never say more than Dre. Last time we saw Mehgan with her dude, he was inserting himself into her family dynamic, which I think was not appropriate or his place. He wants her to make up with her mother, who did not raise her and who has led her to make some questionable choices, such as going on the Bad Girls Club and dating the league's players, cousins, friends, coaches, the sports agent, you name it. So, Megan's been pretty open about it, but she goes to her man because he's like, we can't get married if you don't work this through, which I think was really selfish. Marriage is give and take. It goes both ways. You cannot force somebody else to change their relationship with anybody who was around before you, in my opinion.
And not only that, this is coming across. See, at first, I felt like I'm glad he's encouraging her to do it, but now when I kind of rewatch it and look at it, it seems like you're doing this to distract her from something.
Bingo.
And I don't know what it is. And I don't know. We're going to find out. But this looks like a distraction. And I don't know what you got up your sleeve, sir, but this ain't the look. Why would you?
Because he changed his whole tune, which was weird.
It was weird. Like, when I was watching him, I was like, wait.
She said, I'm not giving up my peace For none of that.
Because
He gave her an ultimatum and then changed his whole tune.
yeah, because here's the thing. You don't know what pain harbors being abandoned by your parent and having to be raised by her parents because she felt she was incapable of doing it, yet and still she has had siblings that were
Mhm.
raised by the mother. That could harbor a lot of resentment. And then the mother's response to that was yes, she took accountability, but she didn't want to fix it further on,
I always
which,
say if there's a but to someone giving accountability,
right.
they haven't. They're
Well, no,
almost
it's
there.
not, yeah,
To be
right, exactly.
accountable is to not put any of that on her. Her mom may be right in some of what she's saying, but you have to just be accountable for what you did, let the day
Mm,
pass, and then address your part. She has to be more empathetic to her child. She
I
just does.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree, and she's not, and that's where we have these issues of really not letting our foot up off her necks because that's the thing. I don't. When he wants Megan to make amends and holding this over her head, I'm actually thinking the opposite. I think Megan should keep her distance and only come if necessary
Mhm. Yeah.
because there's no willing to right the wrong here. So it's like she didn't
That's what
ask to
I
be here.
did with my mom.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to her. We had a tumultuous childhood. There's abuse, sexual assault, all types of stuff that my mom played a huge part in. And she doesn't. When I got the response that Megan got from her mother, because I was also abandoned and stuff like that, I think that's the point where you, as an adult, and she is an adult now, if you've done the work on yourself, you got to kind of either I'm going to have them in my life and know that I'm never going to be satisfied or receive what I want from these people, or
Mhm.
I'm going to protect my mental health and emotions and choose not to have them in my life, but not make it like drama filled or any of that.
Well,
So,
she doesn't have to make it to this extent. Like she doesn't have to
mhm,
make it to where it's like, as I said, come when if it's necessary. If your mom's in
mhm,
the hospital and she needs you for a couple days, that's fine. But then
mhm.
say, you know what, you look great to me. You recovered well. I'm going out now. I'm not,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's how you have to kind of look at those situations because for the boyfriend to want her to have that relationship without there being a line of boundary because there is resentment there, that means, like I said, he's hiding something and he's trying to distract you.
Yeah.
And Megan, I need you to pay attention.
When you
When men
say
start
to your
doing that,
man, you don't get it, you don't get it, when someone doesn't have the ability to give you empathy, I don't think that's a good partner for you. You don't
no,
have
it's
to get
not
it to not push you.
because you have to understand, and that's why I'm saying if he can't see the pain in you, he's not the one for you. If he can't
That's
understand
right.
that this is paining you, then he's not the one. He's not. And to me, she could do a lot better.
Hmm. She
What
can.
happened? You know what was funny? What happened to old boy that she was on couples therapy with? Whatever happened with him? Because he was very good looking.
She
Whatever happened to him?
listen, sometimes good looking ain't enough. Sometimes. So I think
Well,
Megan
true.
J has a lot of work that she needs to do on herself. And I think that she's gonna have issues in her relationships until she does that. I also think that she has
I
to
agree.
probably because of her family, she's like chasing this idea of marriage, pregnancy, and all of that. She needs to be
Hmm.
chasing the idea of healing herself, and then all of that other stuff will fall into place. But that's just my opinion. We are nearing the end of the recap, though. We did see Lord, Nique and Mulan. We see them meet up. They have not seen each other since, Nique found out Mulan was telling her business. And they didn't say that, Mulan said anything bad about her, but she was telling her business. And what was the purpose when, these women don't care about her? So,
Right.
you know, Mulan swears her words were twisted and says she would not talk down on Nick. But in my opinion, I don't believe Mulan. I think she's full of shit because if it really wasn't your intention and you weren't going to talk down on her, or even if you did, if you cared about her, you would have called this meeting. Nick had to come to you.
Exactly.
I think that's all we can say there. Neek, be careful. I really like Neek. She's become one of my favorites on this show.
I'm 50-50 still with her. I'm still 50-50. I don't dislike her, but some about her I just can't connect with it. And I feel that way about a lot of the women on this show. I don't think that there's one woman on this show that I'm 100% like her and can do nothing wrong. They all have some doubt of flaw in them that makes me feel like I cannot trust that I'm going to like them throughout the entire season.
I think they all went from
and Morgan was the biggest example of that. I came into the season loving her automatically. And then at some point between episode 4 and 5, she exhausted me. Because it now and then became something other than, oh my God, yes, get her. It became, okay, now you coming off as a bully. I need you to stop.
She is a bully.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we go off of, you can't sue me for calling you a bully. So I'm going to say it. She is a bully. She aligned with Danny and whoever would align with her, forced people to isolate a person, all off of some shit that had nothing to do with her. You know, I think she's difficult. I think that she played a part in her divorce just as much as that man did. I will say that. But we do see Danielle at the end of the episode going through it with her ex. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this based on what I've seen. James is making a face that I feel. Danielle is still going through it with Rashad, who is dating Mackenzie. Now, Mackenzie has said over and over on this show, Danny does this. Danny's been bullying people online with Morgan. She's been calling, going off, having an issue with who he dates, who he travels with, all of that. And, you know, she's tripped on him. She's acted like a bitter ex, like the crazy ex. And now she says her ex is trying to get a restraining order on her. And that he has video and text messages and all sorts of proof that he has collected of all the things that she has done. I'm going to say this as a woman, because certain things need to come from a woman to a woman. And I'm going to say this to women. When you are done with that man, be done with that man. Even if you have your babies, your kids, I don't give a damn if you're 6 months pregnant and got a 1-year-old on your hip. If you are done with a person, not even just a man, be done with them, especially if you have anything to lose, whether it's valuable to others or not. Don't be stupid. Leave them alone, especially you fools who decide to have a baby with somebody after so long with no commitment. And that's what happened with Danielle and Rashad. Yeah, she was engaged. They did not get married. And it sounds like the cheating was a problem the whole time. So I'm not even understanding why the engagement would even come to. Having kids will not keep a man. Having kids will not protect you from the law. Having kids is just your choice to have your kids. And that's that simple. You can't expect the rest of us to find it special. Danielle, everything that she has done, it looks like it's coming back to bite her in the ass with this legal stuff. I hope that he does not succeed in keeping her kids or the restraining order. I don't think she's dangerous, but restraining orders exist for people to have a way to avoid being harassed. And regardless of this man cheating, she has been tripping on Mackenzie and other people even prior to the camera. You don't have the right to harass him or women that he dates, whether you think they were with him when you were or not. Wow, that you're done. You got to check yourself and worry about your kids. So that's what we see is happening with her. And then she tries to call Morgan, and she says she just ain't heard from Morgan. Morgan ain't been there for her. And I'm not surprised. Morgan only seemed to call and come around when she got a bone to pick, beef, or needs somebody on her side. That's what I think has happened.
I just don't understand how you thought in your mind that Morgan was ever a good friend to anyone when Morgan is angry at life.
Yeah.
Morgan can't be there for you, babe. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. Morgan cannot be there if she can't even be there for herself to really get the help that she needs in order for her to completely just move on with life. She makes things difficult on herself. So you want the lady that is making things difficult on herself to come in a situation with you and validate your ignorant behind in this situation with your baby daddy when she's going through almost 10 times worse with hers? No, that's not who you need to call. You need to call a therapist. You need to call a shrink. You need to call a psychologist. You need to understand why this man's power over you and your mindset, and y'all are not together anymore, why this man still has control over your every move. It does not make sense. Y'all have not been together for a while now. Move on. Why is it so hard for women to cut their losses and go? It cannot be that spectacular in bed where you feel like you have to completely withhold every inch of this man and you just grasping at every inch of him. It cannot be this way. Like, it's ridiculous. There's so much more to life. Like, you can't understand that because you're so focused on what he's doing, what him and Mackenzie doing, and the fact that you won't let go of the fact that she may or may not have snuck in the back door while you was going out the front one. I don't understand. It's just, I'm done assessing.
Well, I think Danielle, I think this is why we've seen kind of a change in her behavior. At least the last 3 episodes, she seems to be trying to be.
I think it's a front.
A little calmer. And that's why I'm saying that. I think it's because of this court case and her ex trying to get a restraining order on her. The last thing you need when he already has proof separate from this show is this show airing and us getting over 10 episodes of you acting a fool. So now I've been saying it for a couple episodes, y'all. I'm like, seems like Danielle's behavior. I've been saying it. Now it comes out as to why. And now she's learning. Never align with somebody who's okay to bully or make fun of others, because they will not be there for you, because their character shows in the fact that they are bullying and making fun of others.
Yes.
You got to watch how your friends treat their friends. You got to watch how your friends treat their family. You have to watch how the people who you love treat the people that they love.
And you need to watch how your friends treat you.
Shit. Well, that too. But if you watch how they treat others, you'll know, even if something's good, that is eventually going to come right back around to you. So we will end that recap there. I apologize, you guys, for the little interruption. I hope you did like the song. If you didn't like the song, then, fast forward through it. If you're watching the live replay, you don't got to sit through it. We do not normally stop our recaps and play a song in the middle of things, but I've had a crazy, crazy week. And I am glad that it was hump day, so we are halfway through. For anybody who watches my Family Chantel recaps, I will be doing that recap right after this one. It will be just me, and we are nearing the end of the season. Thank you, Jesus. James will be back with us next week to recap Basketball Wives again on Wednesday. He will also be here tomorrow. I didn't forget. He will be here tomorrow. We will be going over the Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's our only recap, right?
That's our only recap. I got to figure out what I'm doing with House of Villains. I still don't know yet. Yeah, because no one's complaining about me not doing it. So, But yeah, I actually set it on my DVR, so I got to go and watch it now.
He said I got to go watch it. You're 3 hours ahead. It's on for you.
It's on for me right now. So yeah, I got to catch up. So thank you for having me. It is an honor to be on your channel. You is growing up, girl. We finna get this thing. Nothing to it but to do it. So I will catch you later, though. Bye, you guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.